Hello and welcome back to the Canary Chat channel. This is a reaction to the match that has just finished versus Middlesbrough. Finished Norwich 1, Middlesbrough 2. Thought we'd just go through the games, give our thoughts on it as well, and the player ratings at the end. Unfortunately, it wasn't a game that I could get to. It should hopefully be the last home game that I missed this season. But yeah, let's get kind of into what we thought, what happened in the game, starting lineup and things like that. So the lineup was as predicted. Kovacevic in goal, Stacey right wing back. You then had Medic, Darling, Cordoba, Diallo left wing back, Topic and Wright in the middle, followed by Cerna and Emi Marcondes just behind Sargent. So the lineup was as predicted. I think everyone thought it would be that, so no surprises there. In regards to first half, we gave a very easy opportunity away to Borough, who didn't manage to capitalise there. We then kind of took control of the game, kind of 10 to 35 minutes, I think it roughly was. We really kind of controlled it. We made kind of the right plays, a few opportunities here and there. Diallo had a good attempt, and Stacey managed to get quite a few crosses in as well, with no kind of end product there. There was one where Sarge was on the end of it. It was kind of diving header, just needs to redirect it and just didn't get enough on it, unfortunately. So that was one of the opportunities that was squandered, but there didn't seem to be any clear-cut ones. Diallo did have a curling attempt that just went wide, but that and Sarge's effort were probably the two biggest opportunities our end. There was then a misplaced pass from Wright. Azaz then gets the ball, goes on the outside of Medic, about kind of, I want to say maybe 12 yards out, blasts it front post straight through Kovacevic as well, and then he wheels off and does a celebration that will probably wind up a few fans, but it's all part of the game, so you've just got to kind of appreciate it. But yeah, it did feel a little bit disappointing. Obviously, Medic has been beaten like that slightly beforehand. I believe that was the Watford game, where he's been kind of stood up or gone past quite easily, and it was front post. It was very similar, really, I think, to that Watford goal, because Grimshaw was beaten front post as well. So I think both Kovacevic and Medic would be disappointed with that. It was a good finish. He did put his foot through it, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they're both going away from that thinking they could have done a little bit better there. Just quickly, about 70% of the people watching this video are not subscribed. We're looking for a very audacious goal of hitting 2,000 subscribers. So if you want to come along on the journey, you're enjoying the Norwich City content, click the subscribe button down below. And then shortly after that, in regards to it, they go to the line, they're beaten. It's about, I want to say, maybe between the 6-yard box and 18-yard box. Cuts it back. Harry Darling's a little bit in no man's land. He's trying to cut back further across, like towards the penalty spot. And by doing that, Medic then tries to cover the man coming from behind and leaves an absolute easy tap in for Conway. It's probably going to be his easiest goal of the season. It seemed, once again, very poor defending and just seemed a bit of capitulation after that first one. The first goal goes in, and then we haven't regrouped, we haven't collected ourselves, and then we're hit again with the second one. First half's going, it wasn't our best, but I do genuinely think we did control the game relatively well, and we were creating good opportunities. And up until then, Kovacevic didn't really have a save to make, and I think that's what makes it even more disappointing, where just 2 goals come out of nowhere. But yeah, I think everyone involved in that second one would be disappointed. I'm not really sure that there wasn't much Kovacevic could do in that situation. Darling was trying to cover that further cut back, and Medic was trying to cover the person front post. It just seemed like we were a man short. Maybe one of the defensive midfielders should have been dropping in to allow then Darling or Medic to move into position on Conway. But yeah, not ideal, but it is what it is. Half time comes around. We were up in the pressure. I think we were getting a few more opportunities, and then Stacey's hit with a nasty injury, went up, his boot was quite high, to be honest, on one of the Middlesbrough players, but the momentum meant that he spun around, hit the floor quite badly. I think they looked like they were going through the concussion protocol, and then yeah, unfortunately had to go off on oxygen. So I'm really hoping for Stacey that that's not too serious and that he can kind of have a few days or a week or so to recover, and he'll be back as soon as possible. But wasn't nice to see, and yeah, that did kind of slow our momentum down a little bit. Fisher did come on, didn't do anything really especially wrong, but nothing kind of amazing in the same breath. Azaz got the ball behind as well for Conway to get away. He absolutely beat Medic in a foot race. That's not what we bought Medic for, so that's not too surprising. But Harry Darling did do a really good recovery tackle to make sure that it didn't get any, well, the misery didn't compound to 3-0. So yeah, it was a very impressive recovery. Probably the best bit of defending that we did in that game. We then get into the big instance. So Wright overruns the ball, lunges in, just goes a bit too high. It was around like the ankle height, studs first, straight red. Tricky to argue, even with the most yellow and green glasses on possible. I can't see a way that wasn't a red, really. There was no protests either. I think that says it all. So as soon as that happens, backs up against the wall, something needs to happen or change. A few subs came in, didn't have a huge effect on the game. What ended up happening though was Borough had an easy 2v1 right towards the end of the 90 minutes. They kind of just laid it off, and it was just behind their player, hit his heel. We managed to scoop it up straight to Kenny. Kenny plays a lovely through ball. Keeper's a little bit indecisive on whether to come or not. Falls to Sarge. Sarge chips him on the half volley. A little bit kind of Holt versus Wolves many years back, a looping chip just to settle in and nestle in once it's over the line. So Sarge gets his inevitable 4th goal of the season, 3rd goal in the league. Once again, hopefully adding more value onto his price tag to scare off anyone, showing that all our goals are basically coming through him. So if we were to lose him, we could be majorly, well, I'm not going to swear, but we'd be majorly in some rubbish, put it that way. But fingers crossed that doesn't happen. We're leaving it too late to find a replacement, but other teams may panic buy. But once again, as I've said in previous videos, another goal means more money for us, in my opinion. So not a bad thing. But yeah, a few opportunities towards the end. We thought we potentially had a penalty for a handball. I think it would have been harsh if it was given. So yeah, finished 2-1. Not our finest performance, and we haven't really picked up from that Pompey game, unfortunately. So in regards to player ratings, I've gone Kovacevic 5. He did make a couple of good saves. The issue for me was distribution was poor. There was one towards the end as well that he just played it out to Hackney, who tried to curl it in, and unfortunately it just, for him, curled just outside the left post. And that saved us big time. As I said, good saves, beaten front post, 5 for me there. Stacey gave a 6. Fisher would get the same as well. A few good movements forward, especially of Stacey. There was a lot of kind of crosses being whipped in. Sarge could have done better with the cross that he did as well from Stacey's delivery. And yeah, nothing crazy either way. Medic, I gave a 6. Again, I actually think he read the game relatively well. A few good passes again. Just got beaten and stood up by that man for the first goal. Darling, I went with a 6 as well. So he did have a solid game. I think I gave him a 7 in another game, and I feel like I couldn't give him a 7 after that performance compared to the other one that I gave him. So he looks as good as he normally does, but it wasn't as kind of polished in places. Gave the ball away a couple of times, but that great delivery in regards to, well, great recovery, sorry, in regards to that one-on-one that he stopped was really good. But he was caught in no man's land, in my opinion, for the second. Cordoba 6, just thought not amazing, not kind of terrible either way. Diallo 7, thought in the first half especially he was our brightest kind of spark, creating opportunities, having pops at goal. Another really solid performance for him, and hopefully just another step in him progressing through the kind of setup and improving and things along those lines. Went with Topic as 7, so again, don't think it was necessarily his best all-round performance, but when he got the ball it did seem positive. He did make some good interceptions as well, and anything that kind of went through the middle went through Topic. Wright, I've given a 4, so obviously he got sent off, which doesn't help. That takes a couple of points off anyway, and he wasn't necessarily having his best game. But what I do really think is important to reiterate is that, and I've already started seeing it on X, is people go, I just don't think he's ready for this level. Well, he was ready for this level last year and he was performing brilliantly. So I don't get this kind of, but he's not ready for it. He's looked solid when he plays. Like, I know Nunes has maybe looked better, but you could have argued that Nunes wasn't ready for this level when he was performing how he was towards the end of last year, because he just wasn't performing anywhere near where he should be. One not good game from Wright with the red card. Yes, you can criticise players, that's fine, but there's no need to be inherently negative around one bad performance and then kind of just be like, yeah, no need for them to carry on playing. He's a young lad, he's improving, he's learning the game as well. I think he has been solid. It's just unfortunate that he's had a bad game. So I do not want this to be another scapegoat situation with Wright. Cernat 5, he did one really good dribble. Away from that, I can't remember anything that he'd done. So yeah, not another great performance for Cernat. Hoping that it will kind of all come together after a few games, because I do really like him as a player, and hoping, yeah, he can start banging in goals and proving a few people wrong. Marcondes 5 as well. I don't think anything really went through him. I think our creative passing in that final third wasn't where we need it to be to get the best out of Sarge. So yeah, another 5 there. And then Sarge, I've gone with 7. He obviously had a great finish, great goal. I think the game passed him by a little bit. He did his best to hold up the ball as much as possible. But yeah, unfortunately just things weren't sticking to him because of the passes and the kind of deliveries he was getting. He did have that header that he could have potentially done a little bit better on, but away from that, just another all-round very solid performance from Sarge. But that is my opinion on the game. Leave your comments down below. I'm sure people disagree with the ratings, so if you do, leave a comment on which ratings you'd change. As ever, if you've enjoyed the video, like and subscribe, and we will see you in the next video.